Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Bangers and Mosh, the podcast that just grinds much more. I'm Jimmy.
I'm Daz. And I'm Defo.
I wonder where you gone there for a
Oh, I forgot
second.
to turn my laptop plug on, the charger. Oh, I know when it died off,
Oh,
mate. Oh,
disappeared. And today we're stoked to be joined by Will from Gridiron. Will, cheers for joining and hanging with us today, man.
Thank you, chaps. Happy to be here.
It's a real pleasure, mate. We've had Matt on the show before, so we're trying to complete the Gridiron set.
You got three more after this, so hopefully I can. Once you get me, I think you'll be set.
Dude, firstly, so we were lucky enough to get the promo for Poetry from Pain a few weeks ago. Honestly, when it was announced, I was like, how are they going to top No Good at Goodbyes? I was like, do you know, it's such a sick record. Well, let me say, man, there's no need for anyone to worry about that. Like,
oh God.
honestly, congrats on another brilliant record, dude.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I'm glad you guys dug it.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
wicked, man. You just seem to be smashing these out on a yearly basis now between Gridiron and Never Ending Game, like a
Honestly, yeah.
machine, man.
Thank you. It's been. I got to stay busy, man. I'm always writing, always thinking of new things, and it's been about a record a year for the past 5 or 6 years. So we're gonna keep it rolling. That's just the way we do it.
oh,
Yeah,
it's good
that's
to hear, though, isn't it?
fantastic. Yeah. Um, did you ever imagine like No Good at Goodbyes would take off the way it did?
No, absolutely not. I mean, I never expected any of this with Gridiron. I mean, there was
Mm,
no expectations. That's why I think everything has been so amazing because there was no bar. Like in my head, Gridiron was just something fun. We never even thought we'd play a show. Like it started during COVID, and all I wanted to do was just write some music, and that's what we did. And so the fact that we've been able to do as much as we have, like, so blessed to be able to do as many things as we had. So no, to answer your question, I never expected any of this to happen.
it's just such a great unexpected bonus, isn't it? Like,
It is.
yeah, wicked, man. Did you feel any pressure going into this record then, given that the band started as fun?
Yeah, I mean, a little bit more. We've always said that when we feel like it's no longer fun, then we're going to stop doing it. And I don't
Mm,
ever see that happening in this
Mm.
foreseeable future, which is great. But yeah, a little bit more pressure just given that, new label, sophomore release, you want to try and raise the bar. And I think we did that successfully and try to add some new elements in. And any band that I've done, I always try and like not set a box around it,
yeah.
whether it be Never Ending Game or Gridiron. It's like come out of the gate with a bunch of different things so you can kind of move different directions throughout the history of the band. So I'd say there's a little more pressure on this one, but I'm super happy with how it turned out.
Yeah, man, it's wicked. I suppose it might be a little bit easier to with Gridiron because you're kind of in a on a little island by yourself, aren't you? There's no one else doing what Gridiron do.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely something different, something that not really any other band I think is doing. So it makes it fun to like there's not really any rules. And I in any band I do, I try not set any rules
Yeah,
because whatever we're feeling in that moment, like a record is just a happy accident of whatever you're into at the time. And so we're able to kind of just do whatever we want, which is really cool and puts a little less pressure because it's like, oh well, this is just gonna be Gridiron.
yeah, absolutely. Obviously, Will, you're a bit of a songwriting guru at this point, man. Like, I wanted
Well,
to
thank you.
dig into a little bit on writing for Gridiron. Does writing for someone to rap over? How does that differ from writing for someone to scream over or shout over or sing over?
I really don't look at it any differently.
Oh, sick. Okay.
So we really don't do lyrics until after the music is set. So we
Yeah.
always do instrumentals first, and then Carl does his thing after. So when I'm writing, unless we go into it saying, okay, we know this one's going to be a more vocal driven song, maybe I hang back a little bit. We definitely did more of that on this record than No Good at Goodbyes, just because we kind of learned like, okay, not everybody can shine on every track. Then it's just
Yeah.
too much. So on certain tracks, I'm hanging back a little bit. The rest of the band's hanging back, and Carl's being forward, or maybe it's opposite, and there's more solos and crazy stuff going on.
Mm.
So I wouldn't say that the rapping element changes too much of the writing. It's just knowing that there are going to be certain songs that are going to be more vocally driven, and those are the ones we may want to step back a little bit on, which can sometimes be difficult for me because I want to do everything at the same time. So it was a bit of a learning curve for this record.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I guess there might be times where you might give Matt a riff, and it might just be a little bit too complex to
Definitely.
to flow over the top of.
There has been moments like that where it's like, okay, this BPM is way too fast. Like it's gonna sound like Twisted or something if he's trying to rap this fast over it. So there's definitely like a sweet spot, and Carl is good at like putting the guardrails on. I feel like over the past, I mean, it's insane to say we've been doing Gridiron now for 5 years, but we have. I've kind of learned to know where the sweet spot's at, and when I'm writing something, I'm like, I don't think this is gonna work. He's got to pivot and slow it
Yeah.
down a little bit, or just change it, and it just grows over time.
Yeah, absolutely, man. What do you get yourself when you're writing for Gridiron? Do you get yourself in the mind of right, I'm writing for Gridiron, or do you just jam, see what happens, and then like think to yourself, okay, all right, that's a Gridiron riff, that's a never-ending game riff, I'll bank that for later. Is that how you sort of approach it, or?
For the most part, when I get into writing mode, like I know I'm writing for the Gridiron album. Like
Yeah,
my
yeah,
brain kind of shifts when I'm listening to and I kind of know like, all right, this is more in the Gridiron realm. Now there's times where the lines get blurred a little bit.
mm,
And I just have to sit down and be like, okay, does this really make sense as a Gridiron song, or is this more of a never-ending game riff? There's definitely a couple moments on the record where I was like, no, this doesn't really make sense for this. And there's been times where I'm writing for never-ending game where I'm like, oh no, this is more of a Gridiron thing. So it just like you gotta take each riff at face value and understand like where exactly this should go. But when I'm
yeah,
writing for Gridiron, like I'm not even writing for never-ending game. Like I'm not even thinking about it. And
yeah,
then as soon as the Gridiron record's done, like me and Derek from Never Ending Game have already jammed a few times, and we're starting to do some more Never Ending Game things. So it's like this like back and forth. It's kind of like two sides of the same coin, because at the end of the day, if I'm writing the song, there's going to be a little part of me in both of them. But I can usually tell like, no, this doesn't really fit for here. It's more of a Never Ending Game type
yeah.
thing.
It's so sick that you don't waste any riffs though. Do you know what I mean? Like,
It is
because you're in
nice.
different projects, no riff ever goes to waste, man.
No, I mean it's nice. I've got my entire so like anytime I think of a riff, I could just be walking down the street and my notes app and like my soundbite thing or whatever is just filled with me being like dun, 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 dun.
Oh,
Okay, then
that's
I go like
cool.
this. Yeah, I've got like hundreds of those in my phone. So anytime it pops in, I'm like, I gotta get this down or I'm gonna forget it.
Yeah, man. But you've got them backed up though, Will, because you remember what happened to Kirk Hammett all them years ago, and he lost his phone full of riffs. We can't have that happening
We
again,
can't
man.
have that. We've got the cloud. The cloud's saving me. We're all good.
Do you write with the live shows in mind as well?
That's a hard question. Definitely from like a mosh perspective,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah, yeah,
And I know there's going to be songs that may not translate live, and that's okay. There's definitely been
mm,
songs I've written on albums where I'm like, I don't think this one's going to translate live, but I don't care. I just want to do this, you know?
yeah, yeah,
And then you craft the set list to be more tailored towards, all right, this is going to be more high energy. We can't put
right.
that song in there. It's just going to bring some dead weight. We don't want that. But from a record perspective, a little bit, but I just like when I listen to a record, there's moments that I know won't translate live, but that's okay. Like it's
Yeah,
still awesome to listen to in your car, you know?
yeah. Oh, absolutely, man. And I guess as Gridiron get bigger, you'll be moving up festival slots and things like that, and so
Well, I hope so, man.
you'll have longer sets and stuff. So then I guess that writing and picking set lists and what songs can fit in gets a little bit more tricky, I
It
guess.
does. It definitely does. Like now it's so nice to have this new record of like we've been playing some of these songs for like 3+ years. I'm like,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
never want to play this song ever again, you know? And so it's really nice to have a new record with 11 songs to choose from to throw in there. And it's like, and you don't want to just totally change the set right away. So we're just kind of putting them in there. Like we've got Mascot, Talk Real in there. And then eventually we're going to 26-9 in there. So it's like we're just piecing them in and kicking out some of the songs. And I'm like, ooh, thank God I don't have to play that again.
I suppose, and then it's good as well, though, because then when you go back to those songs in a few years and add them back in, they'll have such a freshness again, won't they? And
It's so true. I mean, for Never Ending Game, we're so many songs to choose from now. It's like we never do the same set twice, which makes it super fun. And so, like you said,
yeah,
like that song where in the moment you're like, I never want to play this again. 2 years down the road, you're like, I really want to play that song again, you know?
I suppose it's quite a unique thing for your fans as well, because like you're not getting the same set night after night after night. Like,
Exactly.
it's just like, oh,
It's
they played
fun.
this song here, but they didn't do it. It's a unique.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And like it just depends on the crowd too. Like if crowd is going nuts and we don't have that one song in the set list, we might make a pivot on stage. But all right, we got to play this one. This is crazy. You
oh
know?
shit, yeah. That's skill, mate. That's a skill to be able to do, because there's so many bands are super rehearsed, aren't they? No, it's this set list and it's rigid.
Prepared, isn't it? Yeah, that's pressure.
We keep
man.
it pretty loose, man. We got to keep it loose because you just never know what the set may bring. Or maybe you're like, we're cutting this song. This is going to go over like a wet fart. We got to get out of this one.
I mean, but talking about the live sort of experience and environment and that, like, you guys are like one of those really unique kind of bands that like just you're on a bunch of tours at the moment that have been announced, which have got some really big bands on them, and you kind of just slot in with everything. Like, it's
I know
not,
it's
you
cool.
just play with everyone. Yeah.
That is a really
sick.
cool side of it that I'm excited about, because we're doing this death metal tour starting next week with Segway Sugabog and 200 Stab Wounds and Mutilatred. And then we're doing this Hatebreed tour in July. And, you know, I feel like we could kind of go anywhere. We could do like more of a rap focused tour too. So having no box around that and feeling like we kind of fit in anywhere, like the fact that we could probably tour with Dying Fetus and then also like a Suicide Boy, it's just like pretty cool and opens up a whole new world of possibilities, which is exciting.
Yeah, absolutely. There's not been many bands who've done rap, metal, hardcore crossover to a very high standard, if you know what I mean. Like, we were talking to, when we spoke to, do you call him Matt or Carl? I always get confused.
I always call him Carl. His name is, he has two first names, Matt Carl, and his last name's Carl. For as long as I've known him, I've always called him Carl. No one called each other the right name. Like, that's just like classic boys in the van thing. They're like, call me Billy. I've never gone by Billy in my life. You know, it's just, but yeah, I call him Carl, call him Matt. I think he goes by anything.
Oh, sick. Okay. So yeah, when we were speaking with Carl, we said to him sort of like, when you hear a lot of heavy music with rapping over the top, the music's always like quite rudimental. And it's, do you know what I mean? It's quite, I don't want to say basic, but it is basic. Whereas your music is, you've got fucking complex death metal riffs there, you've got blast beats in there and stuff. And that's why I think you've taken this sound to whole other levels that no one's done before. And that's like you said, that's why you fit in so many different areas now. It's such a exciting thing to be a part of, I would think.
It is. And thank you. I appreciate it. Like, that's definitely by design. Is like, I love death metal and hardcore and all of that into a blender. You like get this album, and it's super exciting to kind of just play wherever. It makes it so, it just makes it interesting because we can kind of go out with whoever, which is fun.
Yeah, man. I wanted to ask you a bit, Will, about when you first started writing songs, because it's such a skill that, you know, there's not many people have to be able to write songs. It's not an easy thing to do. So who were the people you sort of were influenced by early on and studied, and this guy does this, I've noticed, and someone this guy puts a solo here, or this part comes in. Who were the people that you sort of studied for songwriting wise?
I would say a lot of it goes back to just like classic rock stuff, and just pop music. Like, I love the Beatles, and the Beatles can pack a song in 2 minutes and it covers all the bases and it wraps up in a bow by the end of the song. And I love that. I love when a song, like, it feels complete and there's a beginning and an end to it. And I feel like a lot of classic rock, like Boston is one of my favorite bands ever. And they do a great way of like pulling back the chorus at the very end and taking that kind of pop lens, but through metal, can be done and is done very well by a lot of bands. But sometimes those songs were just like riff, 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 and then it never comes back.
Yeah.
I always like get frustrated with that because like, oh, I love that riff. I wish they did it again. Or I wish that part was the chorus. So I think it's just taking a pop kind of structure lens and putting it through metal. And like Sam Trapkin from Trapped Under Ice, I feel like he is an unbelievable songwriter. He's been a huge mentor for me. And we are always sending each other riffs back and forth and just like, oh, it'd be cool if you did this part again. And he's definitely been a really big influence for me on songwriting. So I also love all the 90s hardcore stuff, but a lot of those songs can be like 5 minutes long. And I'm like, man, do we need to do the chorus 5 times? You know? So it's like trying to find the sweet spot. I feel like 2 minutes and 30 seconds is like my sweet spot. Sometimes I go over, sometimes I go below, but I want to make sure that the point's getting across, but it's not just like, oh my God, we're doing this chorus again, you know?
Absolutely, man. It's so interesting you said that, because we recently spoke to Ryan from Doomsday, you know,
yeah.
And when we asked him his influence, he said, "Oh, Noel Gallagher from Oasis is mine."
Sure.
And I was like,
I'm a huge Oasis fan as well.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's so interesting. All of you guys in sort of the hardcore world have, because I feel like this is something that happens in metal a lot, is that bands just don't know when to fucking stop the song. Like
Yep.
Metallica, do you know what I mean? Like, and you
No, I
guys,
know. Yeah.
you guys have got it so like nailed down as to, well, that's all you need. That's the song there. You don't need to repeat this part again and again.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Oasis. It's funny you bring that up because I'm a huge Oasis fan too, and Noel Gallagher's songwriting also, like in a way, influences where I'm like, man, he like nailed it perfectly. He got it all wrapped up in a bow, and that's the song. Like, I want someone to restart the song after it's done, be like, I want to hear that again, as opposed to skipping it because it's so long.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
like less is more sometimes.
Oh, absolutely. We literally talk about it all the time with these new the new death metal bands who are, they're essentially hardcore kids making death metal now, and they have got that nailed down again to a T. Less is more. These bands are writing 25 minute to 30 minute death metal albums now, rather than these sprawling.
Which I love. Like, there's a time and a place for them, you know. Like,
Absolutely.
I love listening to those too. And some bands who do that, like they do it super well, and like that's the point of that band.
That's
But
it. That's it.
For me, it's like I like a under 3 minute song, to the point, and I feel like a lot of the young crop of bands that we're coming up with are doing that too, and it just gets me super excited because I want to run the album again, not skip through it and be like, "Fuck, God, this song's still going on."
Yeah, yeah. Oh, dude, the new album has got like so much replay factor. It's just like
awesome, man. I love to hear that.
Yeah. That promo's been run to the ground, doesn't it? Does.
Mate, honestly, like when I went through it, like I was just like, I don't always, I'm never sort of like there, like just fucking doing that or whatever, like headbanging away. But I was at the computer and I was just like, fucking couldn't help it, mate. Like, I was just, I'm gonna need a chiropractor, man.
Well, that's the goal, man. That is always the goal.
So good, dude.
Yeah. Lyrically wise, I know Carl's probably the guy to talk to, but there's just one thing that I wanted to ask, because it's such a sick thing that you guys do, like the lyrical callbacks to No Good at Goodbyes. Oh my god, it's such a cool thing, man.
I feel like all of the bands I've been in do that. Like Never Ending Game does it. Gridiron does it. It's just like a fun little thing to call back to.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of our favorite bands will do that as well. And it's just like for the ones who know, like certainly there will be new people who listen to this record and don't know that 26-9 is a stupid callback to 25-8.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just love doing the little callbacks. We'll just be joking like, oh yeah, we got to go back to that, you know?
Yeah, it's so good, man. The one in Mascot about not being on the bench anymore, like not even on the bench now, is so sick, man.
Well, it's just like, dude, you say these lyrics for so many shows live, and it's like, it's cool to do the next evolution and just have a little play on words with it.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because Gridiron now have these like slogans. You're now like, do you know what I mean? These little lyrical things are now things people like write on social media and stuff, and
which is so funny because it's just Carl and I being stupid. Like whether it was like us in a Call of Duty lobby and he just said something, I was like, dude, you got to write that down. Or like in the van or at a show and we hear something dumb and we're like, oh, we got to write that down. That's our joke. What we say is always, oh, write that down. We got to keep that.
Yeah, man. Employee of the month for the bitch store is this on the bench, man.
We've got a shirt that we're doing for this Sang We Sugabog tour. The front of it is the Gridiron G logo in a shopping cart. And on the back, it's like a employee of the month plaque. But it says employee of the month, the bitch store, with a finger pointing at whoever's looking at the shirt. And it just says, for every month, it just says you. For every month, 12 months. So I'm hoping that one sells. Otherwise, we're going to be sitting on about 100 of those in our basement for a decade.
We've just sold 3 of them now.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. Fuck it out.
Oh, shit, easy.
Yeah, that's 3 done. Straight
there
away.
We go. We'll take it. We have 97 left.
So, dude, I know you recorded with Andy Nelson again. Who I've been watching a couple of interviews you've done, and like he's your sort of go-to guy. When you go into the studio for records, do you have like frames of reference for guitar tones and stuff? Are you like, oh man, that Cannibal Corpse record, that guitar tone, that snare tone on this record, like?
You've nailed it, man. Andy has become one of my best friends. I've been recording with him since one of my first bands, Detain. We did a 7-inch with him, and since that moment, we were like, it was like the Step Brothers. Like, are we best friends now, Mo? And I've done pretty much every record with him. I've done all the Never Ending Game, both LPs and the 7-inch. We did No Good at Goodbyes, and then we just did Poetry from Pain. So, it's just like a no-brainer to work with him because it's close to us, and I know he's going to crush it, and he gets all those references. So like you said, where, oh, we want this guitar tone, or we want this snare, or we want this type of thing, like he's so good at nailing that. And it takes a lot of tweaking to get us there, and he always gets exactly the vision that's my head done into my ears by the end of it. And it's amazing to work with him. He's gotten a lot of like awesome bands that he's doing now, and I'm so happy when bands record with him because I'm like, hell yeah, I know this record is going to sound massive. So yeah, we definitely have references when we go into the studio, but things change. Like we're like, oh wait, I never thought about doing that. Let's do this. And that's like the exciting part of recording is that unknown of when you get there, you're like, I have this idea of what this is going to be, but by the end of it, it's usually something a little off from what you were thinking of, and it's even better than what it was in your head before you got there.
That's wicked, man. Does Andy chip in with like arrangement ideas and things like that, or the songs like formed when
they're
when
usually formed, and like maybe he's like, oh, we should put a little thing like, or maybe we do a harmony on this, or one thing that we did on this record that I'd never done before is I'll do a lot of the backup singing stuff, and we did like an extra level that, or a layer that was an octave lower to like make it sound a little thicker, and like those little things that may not seem like anything in the moment, but then you listen back, you're like, wow, I'm really glad he said that because it's just changed the entire song.
Yeah, it's those little bells and whistles, isn't it, that like really bring songs to life when you're in the studio.
Absolutely. It's all the little extras that just like, oh man, just makes it a full flesh track.
Yeah, that's cool, man. So you mentioned earlier, Will, about a new label. How did signing to Blue Grape come about?
Yeah, so we did the first 2 records with Sam Yarmouth at Triple B Records, who's one of my dear friends. And we got an opportunity with Blue Grape just through mutuals and some conversations that happened, phone calls and then Zooms and meeting in person. And it just seemed like the best fit for us to try and move into that next level, which is what we wanted to do. So they could not be better to work with. I'm obviously a huge fan of all the 90s Roadrunner stuff. So like the Blue Grape connection to that is really cool. And Dave and Susie over there have just been incredible to work with, and they've given us amazing resources to make this album come to life. So couldn't be happier with the decision, and I'm really pumped to continue working with them.
Yeah, that's wicked, man. That name Blue Grape just takes you straight back to flicking, you know, in when you bought like a music magazine in the 90s, and had the Blue Grape like t-shirt adverts and stuff like that. It just takes you straight back to that.
Well, for me, like I didn't grow up during the era. Like I just turned 30, so I didn't grow up being able to flip through those things.
Oh,
so like, it's like this nostalgia thing for me where it's really cool to be able to have this tie back to all the bands that I'm obsessed with from the Roadrunner kind of heyday.
Yeah.
So it's cool because I feel like we fit in with that 90s Roadrunner roster. So it's a cool kind of tie-in.
Yeah, sick. Oh, cheers, well, you've made me feel really old now, man. Thanks.
That was not my goal. I just didn't want to be like,
it's okay. He's old. He's old as fuck.
Yeah, I was flipping through those magazines too, man. Like I wasn't gonna lie about that.
Yeah. I am old, man. It's cool. So who? I just want to ask you as well, Will, about the album cover. Who did the artwork, and are you involved in the process for the visuals behind the band and stuff as well, or?
Yeah, so Dennis, the bass player of Never Ending Game, he did the art for Poetry from Pain. He's done a lot of different shirts for us. He did the logo, he did the G Star, he does all of the art and t-shirts for Never Ending Game. He's one of my best friends. So we like everything that we do, we keep in house.
Yeah,
like
so
we try and keep it within our friends. Like our manager for Gridiron is Mike, who plays guitar in Never Ending Game. So it's like we keep it really tight knit, and it's people you can trust. So that makes it very easy to make these types of decisions. And when it came to the art, we really wanted to do this it was like a melding of kind of Morbid Angel meets 2000s hip hop with like the drapes. And it's also not, I've seen some comments of people saying that it's a Bible. It's definitely not a Bible. It's like a poetry book. We're not like some anti-religious whatever. Like we've never taken really stances on much. We're a fun band, you know?
Yeah.
So we wanted to do this kind of like melding of death metal rap, which is what our music is. So I was super stoked with how it came out. It just turned out evil. And when you listen to the record, I feel like it's when you look at that cover, you're like, oh, I understand what they're going for now.
Yeah, you can
It's
see.
perfect now.
Yeah, you can
Thank you.
see all of that.
Yeah.
I can't believe people don't tie in the. It literally says poetry from
Right,
Hayes.
exactly.
And what the fuck?
Yeah, I'd seen someone being like,
I've seen the Bible quotes and I've just shook my head like, are you fucking serious, man?
I'm like, no, this is not. Well, whatever. People can believe whatever they want to believe. I really don't give
Yeah,
a shit.
so
As long as you
yeah,
listen to the
that's it.
record.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's it, man.
So, well, the neighbours will be doing it involuntarily when it comes to my post box.
Perfect.
Something we sort of started asking bands recently, because we were super interested in this, is like the people see you guys in bands, but they don't see the human beings behind the bands and stuff. So how do you balance like Gridiron, Never Ending Game, with like everyday life, like jobs and work and families and things like that?
It could be difficult for sure. So I got a regular full-time job. I'm in marketing for a office furniture manufacturer. Regular 9 to 5, a lot of travel for work too. So there's been times where I've traveled for work and then I leave directly from the job site to a show and then fly home. So that with I have a fiance. We're getting married in October.
Oh, congrats, man.
Congratulations, man.
Thank you. So there's a lot of things to balance, but if you do it right and you're okay with getting a little less sleep than probably most, you can make it work. So
Yeah.
it's anytime that I like, some people think, oh man, I gotta go play this show. I'm like, dude, the fact that anybody wants to see your band is amazing. So
Yeah.
I look at
Right.
all as just incredible. And yeah, it can be tiring when you land back from a show. It's Sunday at midnight and you got to go to work at 7:30 a.m. the next day, but it's always worth it because I got to see my best friends. I got to play on stage and I might have made somebody's day. Like that alone is worth it. So it could be a lot to juggle, but I'll tell you what, Google Calendar, man. Without Google Calendar, I would be absolutely lost in my life because that thing, it's like, oh, I know I got to make sure we don't book a show on this day because I have this. It's this person's birthday, whatever it is. So it's just it's a balancing act. That's all it is.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And like, you don't want to get to, I don't know, 70 and look back and go, if only I'd have played that show. Or do you know what I mean? You don't want to leave
Exactly.
anything.
Glad I fucked that show off and went to bed.
Yeah. No one's ever said that, have they? On their deathbed, man.
No, I mean, it's like, it's so stupid and cliche to say, but it's like this, I'll sleep when I'm dead. Like, that's honestly the way I think about some of these things where I'm like, I will take 3 hours less sleep. That means I got to play the show. Because you never know. That may be the show that you remember for the rest of your life. And like, I definitely don't want to be the one who's sitting on his rocking chair and being like, I had the opportunity to do these things, but I just didn't take them. Like, that is so silly to me. And we're just trying to strike while it's hot.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So, dude, you are a certified top riffer. There's like,
thank you,
literally no doubt about that. Well, I just want to ask you, it's a little fun thing. Who would be on your Mount Rushmore of riffers?
Ooh, that's a really good question. I'm gonna go across different boards here. I'm gonna go Dimebag just from like his tone.
Nice.
Everyone has stolen that. From a tone and just brutalness, I'm taking him. So that's one. I already mentioned him. I'm bring him up again. Sam Trapkin from Trapped Under Ice. Yep. He killed melodic hardcore, and he made hardcore brutal in like such a interesting way. Yeah. So he's definitely gonna be in my top 4. I'm gonna go Matt Henderson from Madball, just an absolute classic riffer. Yeah. Anybody who plays hardcore guitar doesn't have him in his top 4. You're wrong. And then I'm gonna go more outside of hardcore. I'm gonna go with I'm gonna go Papa Het, James Hetfield, man. Like from a rhythm standpoint. I mean, think about how many lives he changed with some of his riffs. He changed mine, that's for sure. So
yeah. I mean,
I'll go a 5th that's just like hanging off the edge of the Mount Rushmore would be Ace Frehley. Huge Kiss guy.
Oh yes, nice. I saw you talking on when you did Scooped Exposure about Kiss, and I was like, that's super interesting, man.
I'm a huge Kiss guy, so yeah, East Frehley is hanging off the rock formation there.
Yeah, just peeking over the top.
Yeah, exactly.
So what does the next sort of 12 months or so look like for Gridiron, dude? Have you, I know, like, obviously you're going to be focusing on this, but are there any plans for you to do Europe and the UK in the future and stuff as well?
Yes. So we've got this May tour, and then this July Hate Breed tour, and then whatever else comes out of that, I'm not entirely sure, but there are definitely talks of Europe and the UK in the next 12 to 14 months, I would say. We're really going to try and start hitting this hard. Like, we're really going to try and do Gridiron big time and really do it. So it's scary and exciting. And we've been a weekend warrior band for our entirety and of the band. So it's cool to try and get out there and do some more. So it's going to be a lot of shows, a lot of weekend stuff when we can, but just keep trying to juggle everything and really get out there and play while this record's hot and fresh.
Yeah, absolutely, man. That Google Calendar is going to be stacked.
Oh, because I've got the Gridiron calendar. I've got like my fiance and I's calendar. I've got like a family calendar. I'm like, dude, this thing. There's sometimes I look at these weeks and I'm like, how the fuck am I going to juggle all of this?
That's a full-time job in itself, isn't it?
Right.
Just fucking monitoring the calendar.
Exactly. So yes, the Google Calendar will be coming in clutch. That is for sure.
Next album sponsored by Google.
Yeah.
Calendar.
Oh God, I do not want to be sponsored by Google. Gosh,
Yeah.
be going to the corporate overlords that much.
Yeah, that'll be the end of you. Right, Will. So how we like to end these chats, man, is with a quick either or round. We're going to
Okay.
give you two things. You just got to choose one or the other. It's
All right. I'm an indecisive man. This is going to be difficult.
well. Oh shit. Okay. Well, apologies in advance then if some of these are. First
I'm
one
gonna be
is
thinking about these. I'm gonna be laying in bed and be like, "Fuck, why'd I pick that?"
yeah. Email us. Can we do another part? Because I really like. The first one is Corpse Grinder or Barnes.
Corpse Grinder, not even close.
Oh, well, there you
Oh,
go.
shit.
Let's easy,
Straight
Will.
in,
It's
Will.
easy,
Straight
see?
in,
That
mate.
one, Corpse Grinder, for me is like his ability to make the most brutal lyrics catchy, as
Yeah.
deep as the knife will go. Chorus
Oh,
Oh,
is
yeah.
a pop structure, and that's like back to the pop structure thing. Like
Yeah.
that is what I love, and you can understand him, and it's just obviously there's classic Barnes records, but for me, Corpse Grinder.
yeah.
word,
Same.
man. This I've just read these, man. This is a fucking rough one, dude. King 9, Scared to Death, or Trapped Under Ice, Big Kiss Goodnight.
Dude, this is like picking your favorite child.
Yeah, I thought so.
I'm gonna have to go Big Kiss Goodnight just because it hit me at an age that was so influential.
Yeah,
But
word.
Scared to Death, like when that record came out, it also kind of changed the landscape of hardcore.
Yeah.
And that's one that people are going to be looking back on in 20, 30 years. And
Yeah.
they're going to be like, wow, this is still unbelievable. So yes, that's a very difficult one. But just from like where it hit me at the age, I'm going to go Big Kiss Goodnight.
Big Kiss Goodnight's a fucking worldie as well, isn't it?
yeah.
It is. That's
Oh
another
my
one that's
God.
going to stand the test of time.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
unbelievable.
Right, we're going to the world of hip hop now. Will, East Coast or West Coast?
I guess East Coast. It's so funny you're going to ask this question because I am the least hip hop guy of all time. Like
Yeah.
Carl has to put me on to everything. Honestly, I would go Memphis if that was an option because that's the one that for whatever reason has hit me that I will throw on. But in honor of Carl, I will go East Coast.
Sick.
Sick.
Suffocation or Dying Fetus.
Dying Fetus is my favorite band of all time.
Oh wow.
Oh,
nice.
great.
There you go.
Mate.
It
Okay,
takes
breathing.
everything that I want in music, extreme music, and perfects it. It has
Yeah,
the
they
biggest
do.
pits ever.
Yep.
Amazing noodling, which I believe you got to eat your veggies to get to the meats. And the noodles are the veggies, and they do it better than anybody. They're the
Yeah, I
best
agree.
seasoned veggies ever. You know,
Yeah.
Seasoned veggies. I love that.
Gotta eat your
Oh.
veggies is the best line.
Yeah, write that down. Write that down.
Yeah.
I'm writing it down.
Oh God! Right, Death Threat, Peace and Security, or Carry On, A Life Less Plagued.
Death Threat for sure.
Yeah, gotta be Death Threat, innit? Peace and Security, unbelievable album.
Yep, another one that stands the test of time.
Yeah.
Right, last one, Will. Jizza, Liquid Swords, or Raekwon, only built for Cuban links.
I have no idea. No
Okay,
idea.
fair enough.
we'll refer
There's
to
no
Carl
wrong
for that
answer.
one.
There's
Yeah.
no wrong. We
That
should
save that one
bring
for
him up.
Carl. I'm gonna
Yeah.
plead the fifth on that one.
Yeah, plead the
Pleading
fifth.
the There you go. There's the first two songs on the next Gridiron album. Eat your veggies and plead the fifth. There you go. Oh, brilliant. Will, thanks for hanging with us for half an hour today, dude. It's been an absolute blast.
Well, thank you guys. I really appreciate you having me on. Hope to see you guys out in the UK at some
Oh, we'll be
point.
Oh,
there.
you
We'll
definitely
be
will,
there, mate.
mate.
We'll be there,
Definitely
man.
will.
I'm gonna need a Sunday roast.
Yes.
We like to
We'll
eat, so
we'll hit you up.
you'll have to point us in the right direction and make sure
Oh,
we're
mate,
eating good.
we'll go to the Toby Carvery.
We'll take you out to it. We'll take you out for a big fat Sunday dinner, man. That's
what I want to hear.
yeah.
Yes.
There you
We've got you
go.
covered.
One
buddy.
other thing I'm going to bring up is I believe it's called the Yorkie Raisin and Biscuit chocolate.
Oh,
Yes.
you had one of
I
them
had one
last night,
yesterday.
Jim.
That's my favorite candy bar of all time.
Right, I've made a
Oh,
note.
God.
I've made a note, Will.
Incredible.
Yeah,
We
That
went
thing-
to
incredible.
When I had that for the first time, because Never Ending Game played Manchester like 2022 or 3, and I had that for the first time, and my mind was blown because
Yeah.
the name doesn't sound good, and you eat it, and you're like, "This is incredible." I
Yep.
brought like 10 back with me.
Oh, dude.
Oh, nice, mate.
We went to see Blood Incantation yesterday, and man, we popped into the shop before to get some chocolate, and I smashed one of them down in about 10 seconds.
Yep, that's how you do it right there. Blood
Yeah, yeah.
Incantation and a raisin and biscuit chocolate.
Yes.
Oh,
You're living high right there. You're living the good life.
come on, man. Yeah, Will, thanks again, dude, for joining us. It's been a blast. Poetry from Pain drops May 31st. Make sure you go and pick up a copy of that, because I promise you, like, it rules. We'll be back soon, but until then, party on, dudes.